Hello, hello there. What's happening, everyone? Casey Zeman here. I'm just getting started. How is everybody? If you can see me, or rather see my screen and or hear what I'm saying, please do let me know. I am super excited to be sharing this content with you. We're going to be diving in here very, very soon, and just be aware that right now I'm just pulling up my PDF. Okay, there we go. So you should see my screen. If you can, let me know. And you should be able to hear me. So if you can hear me, let me know as well. Okay, cool. So I'm looking actually on a page where I can see that I can see me. So I think you can see me too. Yeah. That's awesome. You guys, I am super pumped, super excited to be sharing some of this content with you. We're going to be talking and diving in a little deeper than what we normally dive into. Normally, we dive into webinar stuff and six steps to a high converting webinar. But today, I wanted to jump in and talk to you about how to build a profitable and recurring business using the power of automated webinars in your business. Okay, now depending on where you are at, you are probably going to be watching this from a few different locations, whether you're watching from your desktop, whether you're watching from your iPhone or iPad. Probably the best place to watch and consume this content is probably on your desktop. But if you are watching on your iPhone or iPad, just realize you can open up the video. It will go full screen for you, and then you can watch the content. But if you wanted to, say, send a message to me, you would have to pause that video and then let it kind of minimize, and then you can send a question to me via our question box that you should be getting access to right now. Okay. And also, you will notice that there may be some questions that are popping in and or gifts that I'm going to be giving to you. If you see those, go ahead and click on them because they're yours. But the first question I always ask people, because this is kind of how we start off because we're doing this live, is welcome to the event. Are you using events and webinars in your own business now? Let us know below. Now, this, everyone, is completely live. We are live and doing it right now currently. And if you wanted proof or verification of that, simply go ahead and ask a question. You can ask any particular question that you may have, and I will answer it. The way you do that, as I said, is you just ask below, and I will go in and answer. So if you are getting here and if you do have questions on what we are discussing, feel free to leave a comment. Okay, feel free to ask a question below and I will reply. Awesome. Cool. Okay, cool. And also let me know where you are coming from in the world. Okay, so if you have used webinars or haven't used webinars in your business, this is what I want to know right now. I want to know this right before we start, get things going right out of the gate. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Casey Zeman. I'm the founder of Easy Webinar. It's a software that does both live and automated webinars. I've been doing online marketing and been in this world, in this business for geez, man, like almost, I think since 2010 is when I started making this move to essentially trying to build my own online business. And, I'm going to share with you a little bit of my story as we go, as it relates to you. But if you've never been here before, if you've never come to one of my presentations, can you do me a favor and let me know? Put in the comment box. You can just write it below. Put in the comment box, teach. If this is your first time coming, put in the comment box, learning if you've been to one of my broadcasts. Also, are you an Easy Webinar customer? I'd love to know if you're an Easy Webinar customer. Maybe you're not. And where you're from the world. I know there's a few things that I'm asking. I'm asking first, if this is your first time here, if you are an Easy Webinar customer or not, and bam, where you are coming from in the world, where you live, where do you live, where are you tuning in from? I'd love to find out. I see more people are coming in the room. Awesome sauce. Again, for those new people coming in, you can leave a comment simply in the question box below this particular video. Scroll down and you will see it. Okay. And we're going to get started here. Pronto. Let me just call out some folks that I'm seeing here. Louis in Denver. What's up, Louis? Good to see you. Kurt is here. Kurt, Chicago, have used live webinars. What is today's date? Kurt is testing me to see if this is live or not. I probably already did just simply by answering your question, Kurt. But today's date is, it is, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, June 16th, 2016, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Bam, we are live. This is live. So you can ask me anything. Okay, we have more folks coming in. Elena's coming in. She said teach. So this is her first time coming in. How long would this webinar be? From San Diego. Yes, I've used webinars for the past 4 years. Go to webinar, thinking of easy webinar. First time heard about you from Amy Porterfield's webinar. Cool, Marcia. I hope I'm not butchering your name. So how long will this webinar be? I'm trying to keep it at about an hour to an hour and a half. Okay. I don't really want to go over because I'm really well aware of your time. Your time is extremely valuable, just like my time. Both of our time is extremely valuable. And as such, I'm pulling out some good content that I'm going to be giving you and an opportunity for you to ask me questions about some of the things that you might be having on the topic of automation, webinars, engagement, scarcity, bonuses, all these things that come with webinars, while at the end, also at the same time, some of the things that come with automated webinars, because there's no clear training on how to effectively do automated webinars. Yet myself and my team have been obviously doing webinars for our customers and clients for quite some time. We have over 6,500 customers in Easy Webinar, and I've worked with some of the top people on helping them with their webinar funnels, okay? And I'm gonna share some of those with you. I'll probably go and share my screen as well so you can see what's up with those, so you can kind of test it out and see who's using automated webinars, how they're doing it, some of the scheduling options, and some of the things that I've suggested and done for them that have had huge results. I almost said huge with without an H. Some people say that in the world. They go huge results. I think Trump actually does that, right? Is that like an East Coast thing or something? But I'm actually from LA. First time, not customer from Denver. Okay, cool. We have Lane as well from Scotland, looking to start doing webinars and automated webinars. Teach, not an Easy Webinar customer, but so excellent. I'm so excited to have some new folks coming in. Not yet a customer. Devin from Seattle, Washington. Good to see you. Lisa, I'm a new Easy Webinar customer, Vancouver, Washington. Great, Lisa. Cool. Well, guys, I'm super pumped, and you are awesome for being here. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me tonight. I promise that I'm going to be giving some good quality stuff to you and a chance for you to ask questions. So let me dive in straight away. Let's go into the content, start talking about this, and really just start diving in. Is that okay? Are you guys ready to do this? If you're ready and excited, put in the chat, yes. If you can maybe put exclamation points behind that's how I would suggest doing that. And if I get too loud, just slap me across the face somehow virtually. I don't know how you could possibly do that, but you could try. And Angelina from Texas, good to see you. Thank you guys for coming. Let's dive in. Let me ask you a quick question. True or false? It's 100 times harder to rise above the noise with your message today. True or false? What do you think? 100 times harder to rise above the rise above the noise with your message today. Thank you for those who are doing the exclamation points. I appreciate it. Serge, hi from Mexico. Yes, Lisa, thank you. Full Lake, I appreciate it. Let me know. What do you think? Yes, no, true, false? 100 times harder to rise above the noise with your message today. Liam, thank you. Yes, thank you. You're doing great. Thank you, Marsha. Let's dive in. So here's what I believe. I believe the answer is false. You see, with the proper tools, message, and value, you can easily rise above the noise. You just have to have a few key skills in order to do it. And a lot of people just don't have this. This is something that 99% of the world, they don't necessarily have these tools. Now, here's a cool thing to think about. With now all these new live video apps that are out there nowadays, like Periscope and Facebook Live, there's so many awesome opportunities to connect on a deep level and rise above the noise with your audience. But still, at the end of the day, 99% of those people, the people of when I say 99% of people, I mean people that run businesses, they aren't using technology like that. And the power of this combined with that, because as you may know, I love live video. I wrote a book called Build Your Audience with Live Video. I did a creative live all about live video. I have a new course that was out called Online Broadcast. I have a new software that's marketing and analytic tool for Periscope. So bottom line is I love live video. And I created a tool called Easy Webinar years ago that was essentially intended to take what is live and make it your perfect show that you can then stream out in real time with where it still has the medium of live without you having to be there. And it's because I know the power of live video. I know the power of video. I do. So my belief is false. With proper tools, message, and value, you can easily rise above the noise. Let me move on here. And I see a lot of you guys are saying you believe that it's true without Easy Webinar. True. Yes. So a lot of you are kind of, you're thinking maybe it is true to rise. It's difficult to rise above the noise. Well, here is yes, it is without those things that I'm mentioning. So how does this event apply to you? Well, here's the deal. Creating a thriving business and finding engaged customers can be a big pain in the tuchus and utterly frustrating. And I know that for sure. When I started out, this was what I almost quit 3 times while I was, in the process of losing my house, my marriage, all this type of stuff was going on when I was having to go through this process. So what I was able to figure out and tap into, pulled me out of all of that. And this is the biggest thing that I want to share with you is how you can do this, how you can rise above the noise, how you can use strategies that 99% of people aren't doing that will help you to get more fans, more community, and of course, make sales in whatever you're doing. Okay, this is live, Ann. Yes, this is absolutely live. Okay, let's keep rocking. So who is this event for? Well, do you have a service-based business? Are you a product creator? Are you a school or university? I know I'm throwing that one and you guys are like, who, what, a school or university? What, Casey? Are you branding yourself personally? Are you trying to build leads online to drive people into your offline store? If you answered yes to any of those, or those are you, this is for you. Now, if I haven't mentioned something that you fall into, tell me what category of business you're in. I want to know because I'm going to look at that. And I'd love to be able to say, if you have a question about like, how does this work with automated webinars, Casey? How, this is my niche, I would love to answer that. Okay. Just so you know. All right. So my question to you, would you like to walk away knowing the most engaged methods for driving leads into sales, which beats out the old sales funnels, by the way, by 5 to 10%. This has been tested. We've tested this out ourselves. This has been tested by our clients. I've tested this between 2 of my best funnels, which is an automated webinar versus a webinar mini course. Guess what beats out the webinar mini course every single time? The automated webinar. And I've tested this. I mean, obviously I love both, but it was amazing. One actually beat out the other. So I'm also going to show you a blueprint for automating your profitability. We're going to talk about a quick two funnels essentially for doing this. Some of our customers, by the way, and when I say customers, I mean Easy Webinar customers and also people that have gone through this Elite Webinar Mastery program, which in full disclosure, full transparency, by the end, you have an opportunity to come into my training program. Okay, this is where I help with every step of the way. Training program and automated webinars. We also talk about live webinars, and it includes Easy Webinar. Hey, for 12 months. Okay, I know I'm giving a lot of information away right now, but it's important for you to know so that when we keep going, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So people that have gone through my program, come into my using the software, have gone anywhere from $300 to $500 a day. Some, obviously don't make that much. What happens here is the people that take action and tweak as they go their webinars, they figure out how to do this. And it's my goal, it's my job, it's my mission to help you along the way here, right? So we have some customers that are doing $20,000 a day, $20,000 a day. And I actually have that particular customer who is in as a bonus He's actually, he's in an interview series that's inside Elite Webinar Mastery. He tells about what he's doing. His name is Devin Duncan. And he actually, many of you guys just said it. He actually works with Melanie. He is kind of the backbone of Melanie Duncan's business, Todd Herman's business, and Amy Porterfield's business. Okay. Now, the third thing is, would you like tools designed to provide more engagement, authority, and sales? In other words, conversions. That's how you say that word, right? And that's been my biggest struggle for years, conversions. I couldn't quite figure out how to get those conversions. And that's what I'm excited to share with you. So I promise you will learn why an online event and webinar is the highest converting tool on the planet, how you can do a terrible webinar and still make money. This is literally my $2,000 case study. This was my first experience with doing paid webinars. The power of automated webinars to create a continuous revenue stream for scalability. And you can learn how this one case study does $3,000 to $4,000 a day using our system, and how you can steal the same template. I'm going to share with you the template. And then I promise to show you the 2 top converting, automated webinar event funnels that myself and our clients use to generate consistent and passive income. And I call that my event launch blueprint. Okay. The event launch blueprint is literally a launch plan using webinars. Most people only do 1 or 2 webinars, 1 or 2 types of events of webinars. And that is that they only do a live webinar and maybe do a replay. I teach 4 different types of kind of events, right, in the event launch blueprint to quadruple your sales. And I teach about that in this section. I'm going to share with you that funnel at the end of this, and how automated webinars are killing traditional launch strategies by more than 5%, right? And finally, the tool and the training to get set up right now with clarity on it all. Okay, so let's dive in. These are just some of the people that are using Easy Webinar, some of the folks that have come through my system. Here's Jason Caruso, who did $13,000 in his first automated webinar. He did a single webinar. This is what's interesting about this. He did a one-time automated webinar, not a recurring automated webinar, a one-time automated webinar that essentially looked like this, where it was they came at one time, he did the webinar, boom, he made sales. There's Kimmer Luna, who used Easy Webinar to do her first launch. Kimmer Luna, online brand coach. She has been killing it with webinars, and she used Easy Webinar during her launch. And she just did fabulously. We have a couple other folks, Kim Beasley, who used Easy Webinar and then, of course, became a consultant using Easy Webinar. And then Diane Wilkins, who uses Easy Webinar and automated webinars to actually create a network, a broadcasting network. And it's very cool. I'll explain a little more of that as we go. But so for those who are brand new here, and if you don't know who I am, again, my name is Casey Zeman. I'm the founder of Easy Webinar. That's what a lot of people know about me, but some things that they don't know is that I'm a husband, I'm a twin brother, owner of 2 cats and Window the dog, that my wife, who's at the bottom there, and I are adopting from Haiti, the best-selling author of Build Your Audience with Live Video. I've been online since 2011, 2012 is when I really jumped in full time. I'm also the founder of Easy Webinar with 6,500 plus customers. I'd been featured on NBC, CBS, and many online publications. And I built a 7-figure software and marketing company, as I grew. So 2014 was actually the first year that we hit 7 figures in the business, but this was not the way I started. I did not start like that. In fact, I started as an actor here in LA. Actually, I started in Michigan, then I went to Chicago because I'm from Michigan. So I went to Chicago, New York, and then came to LA. But my biggest thing is I hated being a broke actor, right? So I also wanted something that was my own, because even acting, even though, yes, it's fun, it's still a box, because people put you in a box and typecast you based on what they see. And I always hated that. I always wanted to be able to say, like, I am the controller of my own destiny, not you. So therefore, I got out of the acting gig. And I realized later on that the whole reason I went into acting in the first place is because I wanted to inspire an emotional response in people. And I get to do that every single day now with the training I do, with the teaching, with, getting on Snapchat and sharing some content. It's about, finding, that inspiration in your life. And that's really what I've done. But again, as I said, initially I was an actor. There's me and my twin brother. We're in the TV show Life right there. Um, so because I was a broke actor, I then went into the mortgage industry. I didn't like being broke, so I went into an industry where I wasn't necessarily happy. I was doing this for 6 years. I was a mortgage broker. I was making cold calls, pitching, and feeling fake. And I realized that there had to be a better way to market my business. And a blessing in disguise came when the recession hit, because I went from making $250,000 a year to 15,000 the following year. Okay. This is when I almost went into foreclosure twice. And, my marriage was suffering. And I realized I need a better way to market. And, ultimately, I was unhappy with what I was doing. So in 2011, I started learning about online marketing because I realized, you know what? I want to learn how to build leads online. And I was still kind of in this, in the real estate world, in that mindset. I was really struggling, just like chugging by. This is during the recession. How many of you were hit during the recession? Anyone? If you guys were hit during the recession, let me know. Put a one in the chat if you were hit during the recession. I'd love to know. If you were hit during the recession, just let us know. I'd love to know. Does this also work for network marketing? Serge is saying, absolutely, Serge. 100%. I was just talking to a network marketer today. Lane is saying that he's in the physical product space. That's awesome. We'll talk about that too. I think I just had a spider crawl on me. Whoa, weird. Okay. So I started in 2011, and the very first thing I jumped into was YouTube. And the reason I did is because obviously, I started off as an actor. So I saw that video was this one thing that could bridge the gap of impersonality found on the web. It was like this virtual handshake coming through the screen. And as soon as I started playing with video, I started seeing results, traffic results, right? So I was getting the traffic. And it was moving. I was getting on the first page of Google. This is why video and YouTube is so powerful, but I couldn't seem to figure out how to make money from this thing. So what did I do? I just immersed myself in Google and YouTube, and then became a consultant. So the very first thing I needed to do to actually get through this and actually start making money was I became a consultant, and I became a video marketing consultant. One of the first ones out there. I was fortunate enough to work with companies like Estee Lauder and Dell, HarperCollins on their video marketing campaigns. And I learned from those moments how to do all this stuff. But it wasn't easy at first. But I did realize that YouTube was perfect for driving traffic. Now, the one thing I was missing was a conversion method. I figured out how to actually, get traffic to my site, but now I couldn't figure out where to go from there. Awesome, you guys. I love it. I'm seeing you guys say, Terry, yeah, it looks like you went through the recession as well. I see Anne struggling through the recession too. Lane as well. So you guys might be more like my age. I'm 41. How many, I don't know how many, what age we have here, age range. If you're, let me know your age if you feel comfortable with letting me know. It doesn't matter. I know people that were coming out of college or going into college at that time who had to also figure out what they were doing. So really this stuff can work for anyone, no matter what. But, again, this is for us. If you were someone who had, your income completely, you had to start over from the recession. I get it. I had to do the exact same thing. So anyway, YouTube was great for getting traffic, but I didn't have a conversion method yet. I couldn't figure out how to sell my stuff. This is essentially what I mean by conversion, right? I couldn't figure out how to move people from the traffic into a lead and then sell, right? Until, here's the thing, one day my brain exploded with an idea to make a video inviting people to a webinar. Crazy, right? Actually get people from a video into a webinar. I know. So crazy. I've never heard of this. And that's what I did. And when I started doing that, that's when I saw results. I started making money. And I'm going to share with you this funnel, what I actually did in order to do this, right? So I would make a video in YouTube. In that video, I'd say I did a promo. It's essentially a promo video, right? Like such as, hey, are you a photographer? And are you trying to find business in the sea of noise out there, but there's so much competition? My name is Casey Zeman. I'm the founder of XYZ, and I'm here to teach. I have a webinar that I'm doing Saturday night, March 3rd, all about X, Y, and Z. In this webinar, you'll be able to learn X, Y, and Z, and I want to give you clarity. So come to this webinar. I'll be sharing it at 7 p.m. I hope to see you there. Thanks, right? Something like that, okay? I actually have some video scripts that I actually do give away for Easy Webinar customers and Elite Webinar Mastery customers as well. But that's what I would do. I do a promo video. And as soon as I did that, I started sending traffic into a webinar. And as soon as I understood how to create a paid webinar, that was my very first dollar online, was from selling using webinars. That was about 2012. And in that first year, that was 12 months, I did about $245,000 in online sales from solely webinars. This is how I had to do it. No, nothing else had worked before then. Absolutely nothing else had worked prior to that, right? Anne said, here's how old I am. I too worked for Estee Lauder, but back when she was alive. So not your age. That's hilarious, Anne. Awesome. Leon says he's 69. Angelica says she's 52. Great. So I love it. I absolutely love it. So here's the thing. You know, when I tell you what I was able to do in that first year, it's not like I figured it all out, right? That's not what happened. In fact, it was a slow burn, right? For every success, there were several failures. And in fact, when I first started doing this stuff, when I first started doing webinars, I did terrible webinars. I was awful at doing webinars. I would share too much information. I would stammer sometimes. I remember one of my first paid webinars was in the back room of my wife's parents' farmhouse in Iowa, right? We were visiting, and stupid me, I scheduled a webinar at that same time. So I had terrible audio. There was a heater blowing because it was in the dead of winter in the background. And I had one screen to run this sucker, and I did it, but I shared so much content and all these distractions, the internet cut out. And by the end of that day, by the end of that webinar, I sold $2,000 in sales. Now, I did have 400 people on the webinar itself, so technically $2,000 is not that spectacular, right? If I knew now what I knew then, if I knew then what I know now, rather, $2,000 probably could have been $20,000, right? Because nowadays I can have 30 to 40 people on a webinar and make $3,000 to $4,000. So it's not, it's an interesting thing. That first moment when I did that webinar, I also had the price of my product too low and things like that as well. But you learn, you adapt, you grow, right? And the thing is, even if you're doing a terrible webinar, you can profit from them. Even if you're just starting out, oftentimes you can profit from a webinar. So how many of you are starting out? Put in the chat, yes, this is my first time. I haven't done a webinar. I know that some of you already said it, but let me know again. Have you done a webinar? I saw some no's earlier. And what's been your holdup? What's been your holdup? Is it fear of getting in front of the camera? Fear of technology or concern about technology? Are you worried about how many people you can get to your webinar or signed up for your webinar, like butts in seats? Maybe you're worried about, people coming to your webinar or selling on a webinar. Any of those are completely legitimate reasons for not doing this, because it can be scary. I mean, what's the biggest fear that is out there, right? People would rather die than speak to a public crowd, correct? So with that fear in mind, this makes a ton of sense that it's difficult to do this. I think I was lucky that I was started off as an actor because I figured out how to speak in public, right? Or at the very least on from a stage. Of course, I had to not be myself, which is interesting. So nowadays, what I tend to do is I just am me. I'm the best me I can possibly be when I run a webinar. All my faults, all my stammers, all everything. I just try to share as good of content as I can. So Terry is saying indecisive about what to promote to my real estate brokerage brokerage business. Fear of people signing up and selling. Oh, okay. Fear of people signing up and then having to sell to them. Right. How do you sell, right? That's the fear, right? Now that you have people that are actually coming, how do you sell without being spammy, without begging for the sale, without qualifying, these folks? I get it. All of those things are fear, but you have to do it. You have to start somewhere. And a webinar, I think, is a perfect way to sell anything, because at this point, you just you set the stage for why. You set the stage for their problems and how you're going to solve those problems, right? That's what a webinar is there for, right? Okay, I see a lot of not yets. All right, let's keep rocking, guys. So even if you're just starting out, why can this work for you? Here's the reason. Because they allow you to teach potential prospects valuable information that solidifies you as an expert in your field. They build on know, like, and trust, and you can generally sell higher ticket price products on them. I've seen anywhere from $97 to $3,000, okay? So just be aware of that. I've seen it all. And even if you are just starting out, because of the fact that they build a know, like, and trust, because you're on an hour-long presentation where they get to, experience your story, experience, problems that they're having and how you can solve those problems. If you're doing that in a webinar, then you are giving them the information they need. That's bigger than any, sales techniques, right? Any, the whole NLP, sales techniques, or, things like that. At the end of the day, you don't have to try to psychologically, mind screw the person that you're on a webinar with. All you have to do is tell what the benefit is that you're sharing. And if there's someone who wants to come through, they come through. Now, I will share with you a couple things that do help to get sales as we follow through here. And if you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to ask, okay? So let's keep going here. So what do you think? True or false? You can build an entire scalable business using webinars and online events. Okay, based on what I've said, based on really what you probably have seen in the market. I mean, if anyone has gone through Amy Porterfield's training, or Lewis Howes, or John Lee Dumas, or anything, if you look at the constant for all the folks that are doing well in the, in the online world, what is that constant? That constant is webinars, or are webinars. And it's not necessarily just webinars itself, but it could potentially be live video with them in front of the camera. This is exactly why I love things like Periscope and Snapchat and Facebook Live, because it really is the one-to-many ratio. Does this make sense? The one-to-many ratio is your best friend, and it's scalable. Now, here is, I'm kind of doing, I'm playing devil's advocate. Here's my question again to you. Can you build an entire scalable business using webinars and online events? This is a trick question. I'll share why. Okay. The answer is true, and I put a little question on the end, but I'll share why. So most definitely it is true because of this. For my own self, I was able to build a list of 14,000 people within my first year of using them. I made a comfortable 6-figure income per month, pushing into 7 figures within the last 10 months. Actually, that was in 2014. This slide is a little old. I went to play, and I want to play devil's advocate here right now and mess with your mind a little bit, because you see, you're still held to the constraints of your own personal bandwidth when doing what? A live webinar. A live webinar is still money that equals your time, right? It's not completely set and forget and walk away, is it? But let me be clear, a webinar is terrific. Live webinars are a very, very powerful part of any business model, but they're not necessarily scalable in certain funnels. Like, you can't have it running every single day because you would burn out. You can't have it running every single day. You can't drive Facebook ads to it or other ads to, say, a webinar that's live, because it doesn't have that sustainability. It's not selling all the time for you. It's not doing the job of selling for you when you can't be there. And a lot of us, We have other things. We have full-time jobs, right? How many of you have a full-time job that you're committed to, and this is maybe something that you're doing as a side business, or you're just building it up? Or how many of you have a full-time family, kids, things like that, and it's really difficult for you to, if I asked you to do a live webinar every single day, 3 times a day, would you be able to do it? What do you think the answer is? What do you think that answer is? I know what you would say. So Elena, I'm just going back. Elena said, I did one and it was awful. It was free, and thank goodness it was, because it sucked. Afraid I would lose credibility when the webinar is bad. No, that is not true, Elena. You won't lose credibility. You know how brave you are for even doing a live webinar? Congrats to you for even taking that step and moving into that direction. People are very forgiving on a live webinar, and the reason is because it's live. You know, if someone's going to give you grief, that person is not your customer. The person that's your customer is understanding. They respect the fact that you're putting yourself out there and you're doing it. So don't worry so much about that. Try to tap into you being the best you can possibly be. That's all you can ask for. And I can tell, let me give you a little bit of advice here right out of the gate. If you want to hedge against a bad webinar, oftentimes set up an expectation early on about what they're going to be getting, and let them know, hey, this is live. Anything can happen. My internet can cut out. My dog can come in and start chewing on my leg. I could forget everything I'm saying. Not that I would, but potentially the internet, the web could shut down. So, by setting up an expectation, it really, we are all forgiving people. I mean, most of us anyway should be forgiving. And as such, it's okay. If you mess up, it's okay, right? It's okay. I've messed up plenty of times and still made sales. First time for Jeff. Folek says yes. Yes. He's done a webinar. Rao B says, not yet. Got the doc I needed the last week, so I'm ready to go next week using Easy Webinar, which I already signed up for. Great info. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's see. Lane is saying, getting people to the webinar, are they suitable for products in the $50 range? Actually, Lane, I would actually put I would put $97 is my minimum that I would do for a webinar and an automated webinar. Now, I do have a customer named Ryan Lee, a client who sells his program, which is like $37 a month from an automated webinar. His actual interview is actually in the Elite Webinar Mastery program. And in fact, it's also in a video page that I have in Vimeo, which I think I sent out. And if I didn't, and if you want that, just let me know. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. Me. Yes. Cool. I hope to list properties remotely with webinar software. Awesome. You can definitely do that. Part-time job and need to expand my income. So we have a couple people that have a part-time job or are doing, are doing this as a side business while they get their, while this gets ramped up. So I want to talk to you about scalability because of the fact that, yes, you might be busy with family, with work. Let's talk about automation. I want to show you a solution to scale your marketing. And it's all about automated webinars, right? That's why we're here. An automated webinar is a pre-recorded video streamed in real time. And the awesome thing about an automated webinar is that you create it once and it works for you over and over again. And an automated webinar can be scheduled in your attendees' time zone. So if you have a worldwide audience, that means you get more leads and sales all the time. So you can have a webinar running at 2 p.m. in Singapore and make sales while you sleep. Automated webinars also allow you to create your perfect presentation and create a full-blown successful funnel built around engagement. And that's why I love this stuff, because it's better than any just plain old sales video stuff, right? This allows you to create it's a medium by which that has a higher perceived value than just video alone, okay? A good automated webinar system can stream an event in real time with the look and feel of live and in your attendee's own time zone. And all of this is true, okay? And this is what Easy Webinar is. This is what it does. But, what I'm going to be sharing with you are ways that you could be better at this and an opportunity to essentially get extreme clarity and vision when doing webinars. Okay. So you may want to take notes on this one. This gets a little cool, right? When would you use automated webinars? Well, it's passive and consistent recurring income when paid traffic meets an automated webinar workshop. So I drive traffic from YouTube. I drive traffic from Facebook. If you see right here, here are my conversions. I have a $2.63 conversion, 86-cent conversion. That conversion means per lead, right? So I got 925 people signed up for this webinar, and it was 86.86 cents for the conversion. This one is actually a 4 video series, right? So both of them did pretty good. This one did a lot better though, my automated webinar, right? So I drive people from a Facebook ad, boom, they'd come into an automated webinar workshop registration page, okay? That is how I do it. So this is what it looks like. I send people from paid traffic or organic traffic. Sometimes when I do a Periscope or Snapchat, I say to people, hey, listen, I have a streamed webinar that you can get access to. Go to CaseyZeman.com/webinar, and you can watch a streamed webinar where I teach you everything you want to know about webinars, right? Now I'm off the hook. It now does the job for me. I don't have to do it at that point. It does the job for me, and I can do that organically. I can do it paid, and that's my favorite. Doing it paid, with Facebook ads and things like that. I can build a list of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people in a short period of time by sending them to a webinar sign up form. After that, they get notifications to join the webinar. They then come to the presentation. I share with them a quality product that's going to solve their problems, and I make sales. And that's my full traffic and conversion system for both live and automated webinars. I mean, it's both live and automated. This same system works, obviously. But let me quickly give you a case study. It's a 3 to 5K per day case study for automated webinars. Now, this is John Lee Dumas. You may know John. John is the founder of Entrepreneur on Fire. And in 2014, John made $1.5 million in live webinars. Pretty incredible stuff. That's a testament to how awesome webinars are. But his problem, I know it's like, the problem, he's got a $1.5 million problem. I'd like to have that problem. I know that's what you're thinking. But here, the problem was they were only buying on the live webinars, right? Never on the replay or during the week. And so I approached John and said, listen, I'd love to help you with an automated webinar funnel. And he was like, yeah, I've been actually wanting to do it. I'm just not sure how to do it. Didn't know, how to schedule it. I didn't know any of this stuff. So he and I got on a call, and, we started the process. We got a automated webinar up. He sent one to me. I got it up for him. I worked with his VA, and we got it up within about a week and a half. And within that first week, he did $16,000 from that automated webinar, and now continues to do about 3 to 5K a day from his automated webinar. In fact, there was an article that came out a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, from Segmetrics that showed that John's easy webinar, automated webinar, and it's quoted in the article. Maybe I'll pull it up here in a little, closer to the end. That automated webinar has a higher per lead value than any other part of his funnel, meaning that every single time someone comes through that automated webinar, there's a higher conversion into sales. And so we set this up for him. And here is the funnel that we kind of worked out, which is a really great funnel. He created a free podcast course. Many of you may have gone through it, right? 20 episodes in his free podcast course. From the free podcast course, he then sends, this is an organic traffic funnel, okay? An organic traffic funnel that might work for you. So from his free podcast course, he sent people to the landing page, which is right up here, to register for the event, for the workshop. he then, sent out the emails, and then they also came to a thank you page right here, right? And from the thank you page, getting the emails, he brought them into the event and he made sales. And that's essentially, you're looking at the same thing. You're looking at the same template, easy webinar template that John used here. That's what I'm streaming this into right now. So I don't know if you're asking this question, and by now, you're probably not, but why add marketing automation to your webinar funnel? Well, here's the thing. Here's the deal. And when I talk about webinar automation, I'm not just talking about this, because this seems pretty simple, right? You have the registration page, you drive traffic to it, you have to create the webinar, and boom, you're good. But a lot of people don't think of the automation on the back end of the webinar. What happens when the webinar is over? That's what automation is, okay? You see, in most cases, only 20 to 30% of registrants will actually show up to your webinar itself, right? And if 25% equals great show up rate, then 75% express interest but didn't show. And even if you convert 20% into sales, that's still 80 that didn't buy, 80%. Plus, those that didn't show up or left early haven't seen your offer yet, right? And so this is the majority of all live webinars, right? Some people get a higher show up rate than 25%, but a lot of people aren't, a lot of people don't show up to live webinars anymore. And so having an automation system is key, because it's all about the follow-up. And what 9 times out of 10 webinar people that start doing webinars, they do a live webinar, that's it. They don't even do a replay. And so what I teach is a system that I call the Event Launch Blueprint, that is a live webinar, a replay, an encore or rebroadcast, and then an automated webinar, right? So those are the 4 that I teach, which essentially take care of all of this, right? And it's intended to increase your sales by 4 times more than just your live webinar alone. You see, marketing automation, the follow-up, in other words, is second chance sales. Let's say they didn't show up to your webinar. Maybe they didn't stay to the end. Maybe they decided not to buy during the webinar. Maybe they didn't see your invitation in time of the webinar. There are so many reasons why people miss webinars, okay? So by having a follow-up sequence that keeps them engaged, that you follow up with, that you continue to do broadcasting to them, you get more people showing up. And some of the best advice I ever got was from Michael Hyatt. And he said, the more content one consumes from you, the more they're apt, or the closer they are to buying. So at the end of the day, if people aren't seeing your webinar, then you're essentially just losing out on all those sales. And also at the end of the day, don't worry so much, don't stress, don't worry so much if people aren't coming to your live webinar. Because most of the sales, and this has just been my experience, most of the sales come after the webinar, as long as you're doing things right, okay? So marketing automation system equals future nurturing, because you can possibly talk to each subscriber based on their unique situation. You can give a recap of your webinar. You can create another opportunity to buy, or give them their first chance, is what that's supposed to say. You can send a replay. You can invite them to an encore presentation on demand. And these are all perfect ways to continue the process, continue down the path of getting people to essentially see your content. And then because they're seeing your content, they're buying it because they want it, right? So why should you use a system? Well, it saves yourself time, energy, and money. And my goal for you is to essentially have this freedom of life. I want you to be able to go on vacation. I want you to be able to go skydiving over the Galapagos Islands, or spelunking to the center of the earth, right? While still having an automation sequence working for you. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it can be far from perfect, because all it has to be is good quality content. If it's just good quality content, you'll make sales, right? You'll make sales. And the whole idea of automation is that it frees you up to do the things that you love in this world. But we've got a problem, Houston. Houston, we've got a problem. Sometimes, and this is a rare moment for when I do a webinar, because I've figured this out early on of how to set this up, how to make sure I keep it really on the up and up. Sometimes automated webinars done wrong can feel spammy and fake. Let me ask you a quick question. How many automated webinars have you been on? How many automated webinars have you been on that have felt spammy and fake? Or maybe you didn't even know you were on an automated webinar. If you didn't know, then it's probably doing its job, I suppose. Right? How many automated webinars have you been on that's spammy and fake? I've been on a couple. And the truth is, it's about setting an expectation up in the webinar itself. I never say in my automated webinars that I create solely for automation. I never say this is live. I don't say, oh, you're at a live webinar, welcome. I call this a streaming workshop. If I call it anything, it's a streaming workshop. Now, because this is live right now in real time, and it's going to be, I'm probably going to play it as an automated webinar, or I'm going to play it as a rebroadcast and then a replay and then automated. That's a different scenario because it started live. But that's where I would suggest that you do take a different approach on that webinar. So it's all about setting up the expectation on the webinar itself and not lying to people. So let's quickly talk about the top 5 power tips for your automated presentations. Now, I sent this PDF out earlier today. Did you get this PDF? I just want to make sure that you have this PDF. I just want to make sure you had it. So just let me know. Did you get the PDF? Please, please, please let me know. Okay, let's dive in. So number 1, consider recording your automated webinar from scratch as opposed to using a recording of a live event. Why? Well, the goal is to create your perfect show. Now, yes, oftentimes there's certain energy that comes from doing your webinar live. However, at the same time, you can't control your event as much. And there are certain elements that you should map out in your automated webinar that you may want to start from scratch and record a new presentation with using, say, ScreenFlow or Camtasia. After recording your event, you can easily then produce the MP4, which can be added to Easy Webinar. Number 2, leave out references of time. One killer way of doing an automated webinar is running it in your attendee's own time zone multiple times during the day. And when streaming an event this way, having a reference of time will ruin the experience. So don't say things like, hey, good morning or good evening. Try to keep it more generic, such as hello and welcome to this event. Here's an exception to the rule. Sometimes an automated webinar can be streamed once a day at a specific time. And in that scenario, it can make sense to mention the time, right? So if I always have my streaming webinar play at 8 p.m. everywhere around the world, I can say, you know, hey, good evening to everyone, right? So I can say that. It would make sense. It's part of the context. But the idea of an automated webinar is to not dupe anyone. So in fact, I never suggest saying this is completely live when it isn't, and best to call it something like a live streamed workshop. And as an FYI, the cool thing about Easy Webinar is that the events can stream in real time. So they are in fact live, but they're just videos streamed in real time. Just like, you know, TV shows that were streamed at 8 p.m., you had to watch them at 8 p.m. Same thing with this. Number 3, have Q&As still mentioned in the webinar. So people may ask, Casey, should I still have a Q&A section in my webinar for an automated webinar? And if so, should I act like people are on the call asking questions? Do you guys ever question or wonder about this? You know, should you do a Q&A section where you're acting like someone is there? Here's my answer. I think that a Q&A is imperative in any webinar, but I think there's a way to represent it properly. For instance, mention that you're going to take questions at the end of the webinar, and if you don't get to all of those questions, you or your moderator will be back with them either during the call or after. And with Easy Webinar, the questions come from your webinar can automatically be sent to your email, where you can then respond to the person watching the automated webinar in real time or later after the webinar is over. So it's good to mention and set up an expectation of when they will get a response, so they aren't concerned during the live event when their questions aren't immediately answered, right? So if you're someone who's coming here and you're like, Casey's not answering my question. Well, the cool thing is setting an expectation up like this helps to say, okay, well, I know that my questions will be answered by the end. But now your question is, how do you take or answer questions when it isn't live? Well, you can't. You can't do that. However, chances are from your live events and being the expert, you probably already have common questions people ask you regarding your program. So my suggestion is to find previous questions from people that were on the live call at some point for that webinar and use those. Remember, the Q&A should handle objections and questions. So survey your 10 best FAQ questions that have either come from your previous webinars, your Facebook group, your help desk, etc., and use those, okay? You can also use what's known as SAQs, which is should ask questions. These are questions that your audience should know about the product that you might be they might not be 100% familiar with, right? Such as certain features and benefits designed to help them. As I said, I would suggest having about 10 FAQs and 10 SAQs set up in a webinar, okay? Also, I would suggest wording it as the following. Okay, thanks to everyone who left a question. We are going to answer some of those now. We probably won't get to everyone's question on this event, but our moderators will at least try and get an email response out to you if we don't answer your questions here. Here's an example. All right, so Jeremy asked, Casey, do you offer a split pay option? Thanks, Jeremy. Great question. Here's the answer, right? So have Q&As still mentioned in the webinar. Encourage sales and scarcity, even in an automated webinar. Here's another question that people ask me. Casey, I want to still incentivize people to buy from an automated webinar. Can I still offer, say, a discount or special bonus package for those on the call, even though it's pre-recorded? This is a great question. So someone's saying, can I offer bonuses even though it's pre-recorded? And the answer is yes. In fact, sometimes it's best to offer a discount using a coupon code so that they see the original price, but then they can add a special code only available at the event. You know, Infusionsoft is very flexible, even Samcart for shopping carts, where you can create those coupons. Also, on an automated webinar, the minimum I would charge for a product, and someone had this question earlier, I would charge $97. I wouldn't go less than $97 unless you're creating a continuity program where maybe $47, $57, etc. could work. Webinars should normally promote higher ticket products or services because, but because it's an automated webinar, you tend to lose a bit of the engagement that you would get from a live webinar. And as such, people lower their price to about $97 to hedge against the lack of engagement. That's what I've noticed, okay? Okay, add in timed call to action events. You can keep the energy up during the event by offering up what we call timed events, which can be in the form of questions, buy now buttons, or downloads. So when someone first comes to a webinar, you could show a question, boom, it pops up right under the video that says, welcome to the event. Have you ever done webinars to promote your business? Let us know below. You may have seen that when you came to this webinar. Then have periodic questions or interactive points in the event to add levels of engagement to it. And of course, have your buy now button show up at the moment you reveal your price. What I tend to do is have my slides show the price, linked to join the program, while also at the same time have the buy now button pop underneath the video with a call to action such as get Easy Webinar now, including this limited time $1,900 bonus package and $100 discount by clicking below now. So I'll combine using my timed events and make sure I still use my links in the slides because I can't always rely on the timed event showing up. Maybe someone came late, etc. So I like to have them in the slides as well. Okay, these are the 5. And essentially doing these steps will guarantee that your auto webinar feels spam free. Congratulations, you rock. That's awesome. So do I need to say it? Okay, I will. Automated webinars equal the perfect evergreen experience. Do you agree with me on that? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Also, can you see me still? Guys, let me know if you can still see me. Make a comment. Let me know that you can still see what's going on here. Just let me know. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I mean, here's the thing though. You don't have to believe me when I say this. The simple fact is that our customers have been also testing this theory out, and compared to an evergreen launch funnel, hands down, the automated webinar funnels beat out the traditional launch funnel every single time. And I call this process the event launch blueprint, and it's key to killing it with webinars. And I mentioned it earlier. The 4 events that are in an event launch blueprint are: you run a live event. Okay, an easy webinar, you can do all of this with it. You then run a rebroadcast of that same event, right? The next day or maybe that evening. And then you set up a timed replay, okay, where things are going to expire, your bonuses are going to expire, the replay will come down. And as soon as all that's done, this is actually one funnel that should quadruple your sales. As soon as that's done, you then take that same exact event and dump it into an automated evergreen event, and it then continues to work for you on autopilot. So now you've done one live webinar that you've created 3 different events for, and then number 4 is you taking it and putting it into an automated system. That is the best way that I can think of to actually use what you've already done. You know, sometimes the content that we create is so sparse and so fleeting. We create a bit of content and then we never use it again. Well, the power of an automated webinar is you create something once and use it over and over again, and it continues to drive sales for you on autopilot. Okay, this makes sense? Okay, cool. If my screen is blurry, it could be your internet, just as an FYI. If my screen is blurry, it could be just based on what you might be seeing. Just so you know, okay? I'm just gonna, yeah, because it looks pretty clear on my end from what I see. Okay, let's keep diving in here. Okay, but the question is, Casey, how and where can I learn this stuff? How can I learn about automated webinars for tapping into automation and engagement, which means more time and freedom? Where can I learn how to launch my products, services, coaching with webinars using your 4 steps to the event launch blueprint? How can I learn a blueprint for mapping out not only what each page of my webinar funnel should be, but also different techniques to get more registrants and, of course, a better show rate at my webinar? Where can I learn how to create high converting sales webinars that will continue to work for me over and over again, and more importantly, make sales? And where can I learn how to use the power of automated webinars to build a better relationship with my audience and in turn sell my products and services in the least spammy and gross way possible? Where can I learn all that stuff? Well, that's one more problem. That is a major problem, because there's been nothing out there. There's been nothing out there that will give you clarity, simplicity, and a system. There's been nothing out there to do that. Yes, you know, Easy Webinar is a software, and yes, we have video training that shows you how to use the software, but a tool is a tool. A strategy and a blueprint and a plan is how to use that tool, right? Because you need a strategy. You need a strategy. In order to know how to do this stuff, you need a plan of action and a strategy. And this was my biggest frustration when I first created this software. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I created this software. It was killer, but it's robust. And oftentimes it's confusing because people don't know the best way to use it to like leverage their time. It's like, you know, getting in a Ferrari and not knowing, and say only having a parallel park, right? What I want you to be able to do is get in that Ferrari and drive on the open road on the highway. Okay. And so Easy Webinar is the Ferrari, but you need the highway, right? You need the road. Does this make sense? You need the road. And that's why I created Elite Webinar Mastery, because we do just that in Elite Webinar Mastery. And I created it because it was a need. There was a need. People need to know how to use webinars, but not just how to use webinars, but how to create webinar funnels, automated webinar funnels, use the power of rebroadcasting, use the power of timed replays, use the power of automated webinars and the full system that comes with something like that, how to create a presentation. I've just shared with you 5 things that you can do in your presentation for your automated webinars. That's the tip of the iceberg of the type of content that we have in this program. It's the very, very tip. The other aspect of this program is that it runs live. It runs live. It's like a group coaching, hot seat, and Q&A. So much like we're answering your questions here, it goes much deeper where I get you in a seat and I find out what we need to do for you. Okay? That's the difference. The difference is personal attention that you would never get just by simply buying a tool. Okay? So this is what it is. The program is both a live bootcamp membership platform and a live training. So for 6 weeks, we do live in-person training where you'll have the opportunity to get your questions answered hot seat training style. We are also archiving every single training session and dropping it into a members area that you get full access to. Now, we've already built this out. People are getting access to it right now. And the classes start very soon. So let me tell you the schedule of live classes that are happening here, okay? The first scheduled class, and be aware of this, if you can't make any of these, it's okay. You don't have to be there. These are all going to be in the members area of Elite Webinar Mastery. Our six live scheduled classes are as such. Live session 1 happens June 29th. Session 2, July 8th. Session 3, July 20th. Session 4, July 27th. Session 5, August 3rd. And session 6, August 17th. Now, all these are going to run probably 2 hours plus. They are going to be additional content besides the archive training that's already in the members area. This is just to give you accountability, just to give you clarity, just to have a hand-holding process while you go through this program. And please note, as I said, all training will be archived in the members area upon completion. How many of you are like me, where I don't know if this is you, but for me, I do so much better when I have accountability, when I can hold to a schedule, and based on that schedule, I can actually get things done. When I don't have that schedule, so much time goes away. I lose the momentum that I'm wanting to gain. Now, I say all that, but at the same time, I don't want something like this to freak you out to where I require you to be at the live classes. Yes, it will help, but at the end of the day, my biggest hope is that you just come through the program at your own speed, right? So let me very quickly go through the course outline so you get an idea of how this works. This is the Module 1 Foundation. And Lesson 1 is all about what you can use a webinar for, like the different applications and why. So for those of you who had questions about, I need clarity on what to do my webinar about, this is where you get clarity. What will your webinar topic be about? Okay. This is where we also do a customer avatar to get you guys knowing exactly the type of content you're going to be creating. Lesson 3, what platforms are out there and what will you use? Lesson 4, what style of webinar should I do? Should I do me in front of the camera, or should I do a presentation with slides? And if so, what's the best slide presentation software to use? We dive into that. We share with you the ones that we suggest and what you can do with that. Lesson 5, what are the needed tools for business? What do I need to run an online business, plus using webinars? So many of you may not know all the things you need for your business, from autoresponders to different platforms that are perfect for creating Facebook ads, all those different things that we all need that are our favorite tools. I decided that I'd throw in an additional module, or lesson rather, that's all about giving clarity as to the tools you need for business, right? And to incorporate with webinars, but the tools you're needing for any business. Okay, lesson number 6, what tech gear do I need to run my webinars? In this lesson, we dive into what tech gear we suggest for running a webinar studio from home, from audio to camera to lighting, and of course, how best to be wired in when running a live stream from your home, and the type of internet speed that is best. Okay, so I want to give you clarity and make sure you understand what you need to do when you're creating your webinar and how the studio can be set up. Right now, I'm using what's known as a Heil a Heil microphone, which is a really nice podcaster mic, but you don't need to start here. You can actually start on a much easier path. And I give you all of this. I want to teach you exactly what kind of tech you need. Also, to start at a, if you don't have all the money, you don't want to necessarily dive into spending $3,000 to, $1,500, you could do all this for under $400. So module number 2 is the pre-webinar phase. And in this phase, we talk about the overview of a webinar funnel and a flow. Okay, so this is the timeline. You have to understand how this stuff works from the beginning, right? So we want to give you a 60,000-foot view of the webinar funnel itself to understand. Lesson 2 is the breakdown of the webinar funnel, where we actually examine the pages all in a row of what makes a webinar funnel. Again, we are trying to create as much clarity as we can. We are looking at this as like this is your first time doing a webinar or doing an automated webinar. And as such, we want to break it down step by step by step. Lesson 3, break down a high converting registration page time for a deep dive look at getting more signups using these registration page strategies. Okay, so we actually break down and show you how to create high converting registration pages, the different types of headlines you need, etc. Okay. Lesson 4 is 3 types of thank you pages for greater attendance, more trust, and a cost-benefit solution. The thank you page, in my opinion, is probably the most valuable yet underutilized page in your webinar funnel. In this lesson, we open your eyes to actually creating ways to pay for your marketing by making sales even from your webinar before your webinar has started, using certain things on your thank you page. Lesson 5 is schedule your automated webinar. So now we jump into the nitty-gritty of how to schedule your webinar and why. So from one-time events that are automated to recurring automated events that are done in your local time zone, you'll learn the various scenarios that can work for you. You'll even understand how you can do a live webinar similar to this one. Lesson 6, promoting your webinar. So now your question is, let's say you have a webinar 5 to 7 days out. How would you start to market it? This lesson takes a deep dive into several things you could do to start marketing your audience to get more butts in seats. Okay, that's what this part is for. This is the pre-webinar phase. Okay, module 3 is the webinar day. Okay, this is like going live. So in lesson 1, we talk about the 6 strategies for conversions in your webinar. It's time to craft a high converting sales webinar. And this is where we break down and work on the psychology of your presentation that caters to both heart and logic for maximum sales. Lesson 2 is the 5+ things your automated webinar should have in the slides themselves. Now, we kind of touched on it just now, right? So you can see that I want to give you kind of glimpses into what we kind of teach, right? And that's just one lesson in one module. Lesson 3, trust your voice. In this lesson, we're going to talk to you all about your abilities. Most people, as I said, would rather die than speak in public. We're going to teach you how to feel comfortable getting in front of the camera and speaking to your audience, the flow of your live experience. Lesson 4, creating the right environment for your live experience. Part of being live, or the look of being live, is all about engagement. So in this lesson, we will actually talk about engagement scenarios that play a major impact in your webinar success. Things like chat features, images in your slides, and more, okay? And finally, number 5, lesson 5, what if you wanted to run it live, actually do a live presentation, just like what we're doing now? Well, yes, this whole program, yes, is mostly about automated webinars, but here's the thing. It's so easier for us to make the switch to live. In this lesson, we're going to go deep in showing you how to use the live technology that EasyWebinar uses, so that we are using right now. So if you ever wanted to go live and rock out a super successful live webinar event, this lesson will show you how. From audio to cameras to inviting guests to sharing your screen. And when I say inviting guests, I mean other people who would present with you, to putting yourself in front of the camera versus showing your presentation, a PDF. This lesson will help you to turn into a live broadcasting master. Okay, we'll turn you into a live broadcasting master. And finally, the 4th module is all about the post-webinar phase. Okay, lesson 1 is the event launch blueprint overview. So I already touched on it a little, right? I gave you a little bit of insight. The 4 different types of events, right? Live, rebroadcast, timed replay, and then automated. We're going to talk about that in this first lesson, and we're going to share with you how this, compared to using the traditional launch methodology, can oftentimes be performed 5 to 10 times better. And in fact, this system can increase your webinar profitability by 4 times. Okay. Now, this is where we get into the nitty-gritty. This is where we break it down. So lesson 2 is all about rebroadcasting. And I kind of look at this as the 2 times webinar sales method, right? In this lesson, we dive into running 2xing. We dive into running into 2xing your sales using rebroadcast. So it's 2x webinar sales method, right? Using rebroadcasts for your event. And this is under the launch scenario. So from live to rebroadcast, and then setting an action steps required for it. Lesson 3 is the timed replay. And this is the next 2x sales multiplier. The rebroadcast is the first step in stretching sales, and the replay is the second. But most people still don't set it up properly or maximize their sales when doing a replay. Everybody does replays wrong. The process and the rebroadcast step should allow you to quadruple your sales when running a webinar promotion. And that's what we teach in lesson 3, all about replays. We show you how to do them right so you can make more money. Lesson 4, setting it all up and automating it and putting it into an evergreen sales funnel. And let's assume that you started, with a one-time live or automated webinar that was a one-time event. In this session, in lesson, we're going to turn it into an automated webinar, and we'll show you how to change the schedule and use tools for creating evergreen scarcity and bonus funnels, okay? Lesson 5 is email marketing follow-up, timing, and copy optimization for greater sales. It's all about the copy. And in this lesson, we will take a deep dive into the email follow-up to the close. The close is the part where they have watched but didn't buy, saw the offer but didn't click, or maybe never showed up to the webinar in the first place. And this is where we dissect the different follow-up sequences for the various scenarios that you will find your true buyers versus your on-the-fence buyers versus non-buyers, right? So this will help you to know what kind of follow-up needs to go out to an actual buyer, someone who might be on the fence, or someone who's not interested in buying in the first place. Okay, lesson number 6, cross-platform pollination. This is my favorite thing. In this lesson, you will learn that it doesn't stop when the webinar funnel or launch window is over. In fact, one of my best pieces of advice, and I told you this earlier, the more content one consumes from you, the more likely they are to buy from you. Therefore, we want to move all non-buyers into a new funnel and ways to consume your awesome content. Maybe you want to take them through a webinar mini course or a PDF funnel. We will examine other funnels in this lesson, and a way to move these folks into, we'll get them later down the road after sending them more awesomeness list, okay? If you have a list like that. But that's what you do. You move all the people that didn't buy from the webinar and you send them into like a mini course or something like that, right? But there's a strategic way to do it. And lesson 7 is Infusionsoft and Easy Webinar. And this is where we look at funnels where we actually built out Infusionsoft funnels. How many of you are Infusionsoft users? If you are, you will love, love, love this. We actually built out some templates that we are considering plugging and playing right into your Infusionsoft account. Meaning we push the button and boom, it goes into your Infusionsoft account, okay? We've already built them. And it's just a question for you to essentially fill them out. But they're already pre-done. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? So if you're an Infusionsoft user, that might be something you would be interested in. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay. How should this content be consumed to get the most out of it? Well, this program is part archive membership content and part live class. So please note that you get a lifetime access to this training, which means you can access your members area at any time or day. And you can take it at your own speed. Remember, this is not a race. Rushing through it won't do much good. So my suggestion is go through the modules one by one and, you know what, rewatch them again and again if necessary. It's about going slow and about going steady, okay? That's what it's about. Okay. Use the course assignments to help. The other thing that we have are essentially homework, right? So try to work your hardest to fill out the course assignments to the best of your ability. Not every lesson has a homework assignment, but the ones that come with workbooks or homework requests are there to keep you on track for success and accountability during this program. Okay? Understand? Yeah? And join the members only Facebook group. So I have a specific Facebook group for my coaching students only. So feel free to come into that group, connect with others, link up, maybe and find a buddy to help you rehearse or work on your webinars together, and tap into the networking opportunities that this Facebook group has. Please note, you can only share value in the Facebook group. This is not a place to post or pitch your pitch to others. It's a community of growing relationships, and in turn can help you build your business. Okay, that's what this group is for. And the live sessions, these live sessions are part training, part Q&A. And this is going to be high level, it's essentially highly valuable for getting clarity. Yes, it will be good to join them, because we will be opening up a part of the live session where we will ask you to find out your sticking points and provide you one-on-one strategies and support to get you beyond those points. Please note, even if you can't make it, those sessions are archived, and oftentimes they're the most valuable part of the members area alone. In fact, we have other Q&As that we've done from other sessions, and those are extremely valuable. Those are one of our bonuses inside the program itself. So here's a big tip. Here's a big tip for having success with this program. Consume other webinars. I'm a consumer. I know the best way to get better is by seeing what others are doing and learning from it. This is why why in this program I share with you certain webinars that EasyWebinar customers are using, because I want you to know how they're doing it, how they're killing it. Okay, I know that their webinars for a fact are performing extremely well, and that's another thing that you get with this program. Okay, proper curation. Okay, webinar advice from some of the top people out there is awesome, and it's not just coming from me. Of course, I am the founder of EasyWebinar, and we have thousands of people using our system. And of course, if you're going to learn from anyone, you should learn from someone who has the the bird's eye view of all of it. But at the end of the day, because of that, I see webinars all the time, and I know the best players in the market because first off, they use our system, and B, I've helped coach them with the scheduling and various things like that. So we will examine and look at what they are doing and how it works for them, which can then in turn inspire you. Okay. So something else you should know, this course is not a cheap investment. It's not a cookie cutter course. It's not a PLR program. It's not a leave you in the lurch program. What I can say is that this is an online 6-week group coaching program designed to provide you clarity and growth. As such, when you invest in this program, you are investing in your continued education into some of the top levels of automation and marketing success. This is also a complete 100% write-off, by the way. So by the end of the program, if you follow the training and assignments, you will have an automated webinar that is working for you, up and running, even before the program ends. But you have to take action, okay? So while you're here, let's get some of these stigmas out of the way. And I think you already understand this, that this is some of the things that automated webinars do. Automated webinars that seem live are lying to people. This is wrong. The people using it improperly are lying to you. So I will teach you with massive integrity how to use the power of automated webinars to stream your workshop in the most honorable way, just like some of the top marketers out there, because we've worked with and coached some of the top marketers out there regarding automated webinars. So with automated webinars, I can't have scarcity or make specific offers on Evergreen. Wrong. True. Most people don't quite know how to roll in scarcity into their automated webinars or Evergreen offers, but there are certain killer tools and options out there that can make your offer as urgent as if it was closing in the next 48 hours from a live webinar. Here's another one. If I don't have a high converting sales webinar that I have to run live, I can't jump into an automated webinar. Okay, so the question is, do I have to go live before jumping into a program like this, Casey? The answer is partially true, but not necessarily, because this program teaches you how to use a live webinar too. or how to create a webinar, right? And that's the part that you pretty much want to know. You want to know how do I create a high converting sales webinar? So I call this partially true. You see, you need to test your webinars to make sure they can make sales, right? If you can normally, if you can make a sale on a live webinar, then you'll make a sale on an automated webinar too. But in this case, even if you've never done a live webinar, you'll be able to walk away with a live webinar from this program and done essentially under your belt, as long as you follow the steps that I teach in the program. Okay, do I need to have a product or service of my own to run a webinar? Well, that's a great question, and here's the answer. No, you don't. You see, webinars sell the best, period, and automated webinars sell the best on autopilot, period, no matter whether you're skydiving over the Galapagos Islands or spelunking to the center of the earth. But no, you do not need to have your own product. You can promote other people's products. You understand? As an affiliate marketer. Yes, I know I'm blowing your mind right now. And finally, can I learn this stuff even if I'm a beginner, Casey? Well, we all have to start somewhere, don't we? So I would say yes. But having a base knowledge of autoresponders, page builders, social media wouldn't hurt. And of course, understanding your own reason or vision for creating your company in the first place will certainly help you with this program. You see, if you know what your business is, then we'll be able to figure out how to create an automated webinar or webinar around it. But if you are unclear, if you're unsure of what it is, it's going to be more difficult. So I'd hope that A, first you maybe come in with a little bit of clarity on your business. B, you gain clarity within that foundation module where we help you through understanding your audience. We help you through understanding your message, your story, and your audience. And by understanding your audience, now you know what content to create, correct? So that's what we're here to do. So here's the deal. This program is right for you if you're using webinars or events in your business right now to promote yourself, but maybe you aren't using a system designed to get you more registrants, attendees, and sales. If you want a better solution for promoting yourself out to the world that has search and social aspects, if you want an affordable solution for your events because, say, GoToWebinar is getting a little expensive, if you have been looking to create the most kick-butt automated sales funnel system around, if you've been looking for a simple system that does everything you need, which comes with an award-winning support staff and community ready to help, if you want a system to use, if you want a simple to use system that houses all of your events in one place, or if you want to take one event and repurpose it to use it over and over again, this program is going to be right for you. Because this is what we've done for others. Here's John Lee Dumas, as I mentioned before. He writes, Casey is responsible for igniting my online trading, leading to 7 figures in sales and growing every single day. Here's Melanie and Devin Duncan. As I said, Devin also runs Amy Porterfield's business and Todd Herman's. He said, everything Casey does is quality. His teaching is authentic and actionable, and his easy webinar software is working incredibly well in many of our businesses. He cares about his community and getting results and was very hands-on while we were getting set up on his software. And if we hit any snags, we knew that at any time Casey would be there. He will come through. Here are a couple other folks that have come through. Here's Bozidar. I always have a tough time saying his last name. Jovasevich, okay? He came through my program, my coaching program. He said, I enjoy Casey's skill at coaching. Some people are great at teaching webinars, but not everyone is good at transferring knowledge to other people. I was in Bali during the live group coaching, and for me, it was 5 a.m. I look forward to getting up at 4:45 a.m. and learning what Casey had to teach for that day. In fact, Bozidar, he increased his sales, I think, he's on the sales page, I believe. But he actually did really, really well using the rebroadcast method, just extremely well. Now, here's a really awesome pair of people that I personally love. They've come to my house before. I've run a workshop with them here at my house, Eric and April Perry, and they say, Casey has changed our lives. We were doing 2 to 3 live webinars a week. And with a family and a job, I was tired. This is what April was saying. With automated webinars, we don't have the pressure. The webinar is just running. People are so grateful we offer webinars at 8 p.m. now. We couldn't do that before with live webinars. Thanks, Casey. And as I said, John Lee Dumas, 16,000 from his first week of using Easy Webinar. And as I said, he continues to make 3 to 5K a day. And, you know, more people that are just like maybe you who had full-time jobs. Here's Jason Crusoe, who had with a full-time job, family to support, was backed into a corner with a lack of time. As a full-time professional and a father, he had no time to run the webinar live during the time he wanted for his audience. So he knew he wanted to do the webinar at a certain time, which would be perfect for his audience, but he just couldn't be there to run it live. So on a whim, he ran it as a one-time automated webinar. And from that one webinar, not multiple streams, multiple times, by the way, not a webinar that streamed like several times during the day. It was just a one-time webinar. The first time he did it, he made $14,000. $14,000 using Easy Webinar. Now, here's Kimber Luna, who doesn't really use Easy Webinar for automated webinars, but she used it a lot for live webinars, especially during her first launch, which did high 6 figures. She did 900K in 10 months. And she used Easy Webinar to run those broadcasts during her live experience when she did that launch. This is just an example. This is one of the pages that she created. This is an Easy Webinar page. Here's another client who actually, as I said before, she teaches webinars and consulting after going through my program, right? She actually landed a 75K client with this knowledge. Now, there are other people that are using Easy Webinar and have come into my program and are kind of created all these different kind of cool different ways of using automated webinars. As I said, here's Diane, who created a full TV network using Easy Webinar after I showed her when she came through the program, my coaching program. We would schedule the events and people would buy them, view them at certain times. And what she would do is she would sell airtime. This is the super cool idea. She would sell airtime to other like-minded experts from her network. So she created a platform, right, where Easy Webinar would stream. She had multiple streams going out at different times. And each of those streams, she would sell airtime to people that would buy airtime per month to essentially have their webinars running. Really cool stuff. And when she started doing this, she was doing 5K a month. It's really good stuff. Here's Ken, who used Easy Webinar to put on a live online summit. Now, the power of Easy Webinar is you can not only do a live summit, but an automated one as well, which is pretty powerful. And that's actually something that I'm excited about, because we have a version of Easy Webinar that's going to be coming out in the near future that people that come into my coaching program, you guys get like literally not only the best pricing, but the early access to all that type of stuff. So it's going to be so cool when this actually comes out. Right now, we have a new program, a new Easy Webinar that's coming out very soon. And a cool thing about what we have going on here is that we are giving you 12 months free of Easy Webinar. And that includes the new version when it comes out. Really cool stuff. Here's Brad Travers. Wow, got Easy Webinar on Sunday. Watched the tutorial, set up the first webinar today, and boom, $1,579 in sales for a 1-hour Webby. Nice. Here's Tara. Just finished my first webinar using Easy Webinar after switching from, let's just say, another platform. Wow, it was amazing. My first sale came in, no tech issues. Question button was awesome. And I got this as well from David. Hey, Casey, I just want to let you know that I've made over $107,000 since last August using Easy Webinar. Love the software. I just purchased 4.0. Wow. Hey, Casey, I would like to personally thank you for your awesome product. Easy Webinar is contributing to about 90% of my income since I started using it in November. I'm making $20,000 a month without fail. I was making around 5K before that, so big thanks. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any ideas to make the webinars even better. Here's Lisa Jackson. Looking forward to my next successful webinar with Easy Webinar. I'm so glad I bought the software. It's made my life so much easier, and I'm really starting to enjoy hosting my training webinars. Next step, automated webinars. Let's do it, Lisa. Now, here's someone who came through my coaching. So you'll see that I have a slew of different folks in here, people that have come through the product, people that I've done coaching with. And it's important for you to know that this is a coaching program. So as such, not only do you get the software that will do the job for you, but you'll get a clarity that you probably would never get anywhere else. So Lauren said, you are awesome. Your coaching is superb and you over deliver. I can't thank you enough for today's call. I'm so inspired. Some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some stay for a while and leave footprints on our soul. And we are never, ever the same. I'm forever grateful that I have Casey as my mentor. I have had several coaches, and it is awesome when you absolutely know that your coach, Casey Zeman, gets you and supports you. Okay. This is pretty, I love it. This is great. Very unsolicited and amazing that she even wrote all that. So what can you do right now? What can you do right now? If you'd like to get started in this program, if you'd like to get clarity, if you'd like to work one-on-one, you can go to elitewebinarmastery.com/live. There should also be a link to the left under the video. So you would probably see something under the video itself as well, right? That should take you to the page, right? Do you see that? You might see that. I'm just wondering. So if you go to elitewebinarmastery.com/live, you'll be able to get access to the program, okay? There should be a buy now button showing up underneath the video. There should be a buy now button on the under the event description as well, where you can click and get access. I welcome you to check that out. Click order to see if you are brought to that page. You should be able to get to that page. You will then come to essentially the sales page. And on that sales page, you'll read more stories. You'll see essentially other people that are using it. And you know, when this is going up. So right now, we have an early bird special happening where it is literally $500 off the price. When you come in before June 18th, that's on this Saturday before midnight, you will get access to the entire slew of training modules, the live sessions, and you'll be able to get 12 months of Easy Webinar for free. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is I would love to show you what the sales page looks like, and then actually show you what the members area looks like, and then answer some questions. So we're going to get to a Q&A right now. Okay. So if you have any questions that you want clarity on, now is the time to ask them. Okay. Now is definitely the time to ask them. Again, that's elitewebinarmastery.com/live. Go there, check it out, make sure it's working. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen so you can see what this essentially looks like. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, one second. There we go. Okay, desktop 2. All right, so now you should see my screen, and this is what the sales page looks like, right? If you've clicked on it, you'll be coming to this particular page. You can scroll through and just see what we're talking about here. Okay, the message is clear. We pretty much just covered all this, all right? But the one thing that I do want to make mention is showing you, I'd like to show you, we've already talked about what the program is, but let me show you what you're getting right now with the bonuses. So let me slide down this way. Let me go down this way. So right now, we have a ton of valuable bonuses, all totaling over $10,000, okay? These bonuses include Infusionsoft training, okay? If you're someone who's an Infusionsoft user and you want to know how to use this, including the automation, this is going to be great. Traffic with live video. I love live video. And as such, this is where we're going to talk about live video for essentially bringing in organic traffic, managing your projects. Like if you have a team, or you've been thinking about getting a team, or you're at a point in your life where you want to hire a team to bring in, I talk about the best way to get a virtual team, how to hire them, how to not deal with the nightmare that can sometimes happen, how you can do this without feeling that pain. Because I have a ton of outsourced team. I have a full team, and I've been doing this for years, and I've had horror stories happen. So in this, I share with you the best ways to hire a team, best ways to fire a team, so that you know how to get clarity on that. Also, I want to talk about, presentation. So we have training on Canva and Haiku Deck. Also, we have our one-on-one recordings, which essentially, I think they're worth the price of the program alone, because these are where other people just like you are coming in. They're asking about pricing. They're asking about these things, and we answer them on these live calls. And if you watch these live calls, you will find that they are extremely valuable. Facebook ads training. You might have a question on how to use Facebook ads. How do you drive Facebook ads to a webinar? How do you get more people into a webinar using Facebook ads? That's where we pull all the stops out and show you how to do that. Another way that you get people on a webinar is through joint venture promotions, right? This is one of my biggest strategies for getting people that are like-minded, that want to promote my webinars to their list. And this is where the Event Launch Blueprint is so necessary, because these guys want to know that you're going to make a money. And if you have the 4 steps of the Event Launch Blueprint, you will. In fact, I remember when I was doing joint venture partnerships, I've done it with Mike Koenigs and a few other people, I got on the top of the leaderboards for those programs. And the reason I was able to get to the top of the leaderboards for those programs was because I used my 4 steps of the Event Launch Blueprint. Okay, so I teach you how to get JVs, and then of course how to make them money that in turn make you money. Okay, also we talk about branding yourself and your project, right? Tell the world who you are. Brand yourself and your products, and that is a good key to a long-term success. Get your name on your products. Get your name or your product's name out into the world. Interviews with top webinar producers. Now, this is where Devin Duncan, Ryan Lee, and a few other people have really, really great interviews that I have housed inside the program as well. Really, really good stuff. We're getting a lot of clarity. In fact, when I shared with April and Eric Perry, when those guys here on this particular page, they're right up here, I think. Where are they? I think they're right here, right? When I shared what Devin was doing with his automated webinars, their jaws dropped, because what he's doing with automated webinars is incredible. He's making, as I said, $20K a day, and there's a process to it, and so that's what he shared, and that's what's in the back end of this program as well. So chances are I'm going to throw in other stuff too, because that's just how I do. That's how I roll. So just be aware that you'll probably get some other bonuses for coming into the program itself. And you can watch videos from people that are using Easy Webinar right now. So this is Elite Webinar Mastery, right? It's only 6 sessions. I apologize. This is a typo. So if you're seeing this 12 sessions, it's actually a typo. It's supposed to be 6 sessions. I apologize if you see that. Okay, I'll change that as soon as I'm done here, just as an FYI. So if you're ready to get access, this comes with the 4 Power Pack modules with expert training about live and automated webinars, 6 live sessions that are basically group coaching, training, hot seats, and live Q&As for accountability, 10K plus worth of bonuses and training that are going to enhance your sales and conversions for your webinar skills, and then 12 months free of Easy Webinar, plus the new version coming out, which is valued at $477 a year. And then, of course, we're giving you a discount on the price. So right now, the price is $19.97. But if you come in before Saturday at midnight, you can get early access for only $14.97. That's a one-time price of $1,500, less than $1,500 essentially. Or you can do 6 payments of $289, and that's billed every 30 days. Okay? 6 payments of $289. All right. So again, the value here what I'm going to be sharing with you is how our customers have been able to do $20,000, not a year, not a month, not a week, but a day. And so I want to ask you something. Do you think $1,500 is too high? Do you think it's too low? Because the people that have gone through this program have oftentimes doubled, tripled, quadrupled their sale, and sometimes they surprise me and go even beyond any expectations I could possibly have. And I'd like that to be you. So if you're ready, if you want clarity and hand-holding and accountability and the right training the right way, come on in to Elite Webinar Mastery. I'd be happy to have you. This is right for you if you are someone who, first off, A, can afford it. You, B, you will go through the training, and C, you have an idea for a product and or a product that you are already selling, okay? Or maybe you have a product of somebody else's you're selling. Now, who isn't this for? This is not for somebody who wants a push button, done for you, that's it, everything is perfect thing, okay? This is not some fast, I said, there's no easy button here, okay? Now, I will say that we give you clarity and we help you to get set up, but you just have to go through the steps, okay? All right? All you have to do is go through the steps. This is not the hardest thing in the world. This is not like running a marathon, but it does take work. It's not like sitting on the beach initially. Once you get it done, you can sit on the beach, right? Once you get it done, you could look at your account and see that, wow, I just made $4,000 today, or wow, I just made, $20,000 today. And what's amazing is that I get to experience that now, whereas when I was first starting out, I didn't have that experience. I was starting out, I was lucky if I made $100 in a day, but after webinars, it started to click. And now, now I can do almost about $200,000+ in a month, right? And it's a very different experience now. However, everything I'm saying, all the processes are still the same, and you have to learn them at some point. And once you do, you get better and better and better at it. That's what happens. Okay. Now, let me go in and let's field some questions here. And then, it's getting kind of late, so we're going to probably close down at that point. But let's see if we have any questions. Okay, hold on 1 second. Just going to look through some of these questions here. Yeah, for a lot of you guys, you're saying you can't see my face. That's right. Not blurry. Cool. Yeah, I never I never showed my face on this, and because I'll tell you why. It's because for some reason my camera is not working. It's really weird. My camera's not working. Okay, what happens if I miss the early bird price? Should I decide to enroll in the future? Is it a long wait? Plus, at full price, can you pay the installments? Yes, you can pay the 6 payments in installments if you don't want to lock in your price now. But if you want to lock it in now, you're locking it in at a $500 discount. Now, there is a 30-day refund policy. Now, please read the refund policy at the bottom, because once we start these live trainings, the time I give to you and the energy, it's going to be hard for me to give you a refund. However, the idea is you can get a refund if you finish the homework and you submit it in to us. Okay, so read that so you understand exactly what the refund policy is. Okay, but there is a 30-day refund policy. Yes, cool. Let me see it here. Okay, so here's a great question. Glad your approach is authentic and not fake that it's live. Our biggest concern is avoiding appearing to be a spammy business. Okay, I get that. I completely get that. And you don't worry, you won't, because we're a B2C with audiences of moms. Okay, so if you notice, Anne, I shared with you one of our customers, one of our clients, the power of moms. These guys are definitely not spammy. They are definitely overvalue givers, and this is exactly what they're doing. Okay, so can't help but feel that scarcity and expiring offers, while understandably successful, can feel spammy. Well, here's the thing, not necessarily, especially given that people are savvy about copying URLs and could easily discover that you're really evergreen. Our audience often wants to watch the same webinar a couple times before deciding to buy. So would definitely catch on to the fake scarcity bonus. It's possible to have success, albeit lower, by taking a lower key approach and not relying on scarcity? Or do you have any suggestions for using scarcity and bonus but still feeling authentic? Absolutely. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Scarcity in an automated webinar simply means this. Let's say on your sales page, you have a product that sells for $2,000, but on a webinar, even an automated webinar, you sell it for $500, or you sell it for $500 off. Technically, that's a reason for them to buy from the webinar. Now, here's another point of scarcity. What happens if you show that buy now button with that discount and you have it showing for 5 minutes, but then it goes away? So after it goes away, technically, that means it's not available anymore after those 5 minutes. Okay? And then you show a button for the full price later on in the webinar. Now, that's scarcity, because you're saying, hey, clicking on this button will get you a discount and actually lock you in for bonuses. That's what I do. So I have a different link that I have in my webinar that goes out early. I say, click on this button because this will lock you in for the early fast action bonuses because you're taking action right now. Now, to me, I'm rewarding. It's not scarcity. It's not spammy. It's rewarding the people that decide to come in now to take action. Yes, technically they can watch the webinar again, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're more concerned about just getting into the program. And if they're getting a special deal or getting a special bonus, that's what they want. So I just don't think it's going to be them worrying or concerning themselves over, oh, well, this was not live, because you have to set up the expectation that it isn't necessarily live, right? I always say mine are streaming workshops. So I don't lie about them. And, that's the thing. If you're trying to trick somebody, and they find out that you're duping them, that's the problem. And I like that you also wrote, P.S., not that your scarcity bonuses feel spammy, of course, but seriously, how do you manage the scarcity bonus issue from the live event to time replay to automated? The idea of a replay itself expiring feels weird, given that it's positioned as the content you're offering people. No. The replay is the replay. The replay is quality content. But here's the thing. Your time is valuable. Your content is valuable. Don't you think that if I put a lockdown on my replay and when stuff is available, it's because I want to make sure that content, that my time is being valued. So, in a launch scenario, a live launch scenario, where you run a live webinar, you run a rebroadcast, and then you have a replay set up where the bonuses and everything expires, even the offer, that is not false scarcity. That's essentially saying that the offer is closing and the replay is closing. That means everything is shutting down. So technically, to me, my belief is that is an urgency, not a spammy scarcity, but an urgency. It creates urgency to come into the program because it's going away. And it eliminates the true buyers versus the non-buyers. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you qualifying your buyers based on action. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's not like you're saying, I'm taking this back from you because you haven't bought. No, it's simply that there is an equal transaction of respect that has to go back and forth. And if you're giving them quality content for free, there has to be that equality back to you. So by you having that replay expire is essentially saying, listen, I can't have this available because this is my best stuff. And in fact, oftentimes with my webinars, if they do in fact expire for real, it's because it's my best stuff. So the idea of content expiring indicates to people right up front that it's a sales tactic. No, I don't think so. I mean, here, you got to just say that you have to create an expectation. You have to tell them what it's all about. Yes, people are negative, but the negative people aren't your buyers. The people that are on with you are your buyers. It's okay to turn people off. If you came into this event and you got turned off and you left, it's okay. It's okay to polarize on a webinar because you're going to have buyers that believe in you or you're not. And those people that are going to say, oh, well, that's just a sales tactic and then still buy from you, they're going to be your biggest headache of all time. So trust me, the people that buy from you, that respect your offer, that respect what you're doing, are the ones that are your true buyers, the ones that will take action, and the ones that will see results. So this is okay to polarize. Okay. I do not recognize that these strategies make a huge difference, but just have trouble reconciling it with the reality of ongoing evergreen webinars and offers. Here's the thing. You don't always have to have a hard offer on an evergreen webinar either. You could simply just have you could simply just have it a soft sale. Right? You don't have to offer bonuses and scarcity on the webinar itself. You could say, hey, if you come in, I have a bonus package that you're going to get as soon as you buy it. And that can be true on the webinar. And then after that webinar is done, maybe you can offer up a replay that happens and then that's it. But that you only have that flexibility once you know what you can do. Because here's the thing, I do that. I sometimes only do an automated webinar and a replay of that webinar. And that's all I sometimes do. And I don't have a hard sale. I just have a soft sale. There's nothing wrong with that. And, again, I try to set up an expectation. Again, I've worked at this. I've learned this stuff. I figured out, how to do it. I've had the same fears and same anxieties as you about, not being spammy because I hate spammy, right? I hate that. So I get it. I completely get it. But that's why I focus so much on this. So thank you, Anne. I think it was Anne. So much for the question. Wait, was it not Anne? It was... Sorry, I'm trying to remember your name. I apologize if I lost it. Okay, hold on one second. I did see another question. Okay. Okay. Thanks for. Well, oh yeah, it was Anne. Thanks for waiting through my question and addressing it. Your explanation makes me feel better about it. I get it now about keeping content exclusive and agree that no one who appreciates the content will buy. Not overthink sales tactics. Yeah, exactly. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. I mean, Amy Porterfield and some of the most integrity-based marketers use this stuff. It's not something you want to overthink. It's just, you just want to allow yourself to do it in the most non-spammy way. And that's why I've created what I've created. Okay, let's see here. Another question I already have. If you are an Easy Webinar customer, check your email. If you're an Easy Webinar customer, check your email because there is something in there for you. Okay, so everyone, I think that is it. I think that is it. We're now at the 2-hour mark. I just want to thank you all for coming to this. I don't have if you buy now on this webinar, I'm going to give you X. I don't have that. Just realize that the early bird price is closing very soon. This is a live coaching. So as a live coaching, you're going to get me personally. So it's all, the scarcity is around the fact that I'm running it live, right? But it is also, a members area. And I didn't show you what the members area looked like. This is what happens when you come into the members area. You'll get immediate access right now to the foundational videos right here, right? With the supporting documents, you'll be able to move through the foundational videos. Currently, there are some homework that you can actually do, right? Okay, welcome to lesson 2. Yeah, so there you can see what these are like, right? We have worksheets, lesson slides, handouts, things like that, also available. Bonus resources as well, right? So we have a bunch of bonuses that we're also rolling in there as we go. The Facebook ads is in there right now, project management, live stream like a hero, working with JV's top producer talk. And more are going in, just as an FYI, okay? So you can get, as soon as you jump in, you can start getting access. You can start learning about this stuff and start doing this. Now, the intro page will take you to where it'll start talking about the sessions. Actually, the first session is the 29th. Okay, that's our very first session is happening on the 29th. That's when it starts. Okay, our live session. So anyway, this is the dashboard, right? So you'll be able to get training here. If you have any questions, you can send us a message directly, or if you have any questions, you can click support here, and it'll bring you right into this page where you can then click here to come into our support desk and ask any questions. If there's any problems with your account, you can't seem to get, you lost your login or something, that we can talk, we can get you through that, okay? Okay, that's it for me. I just want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for your time. I hope this was helpful. I can't wait to see you on the inside, those who do decide to come through. You are all amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you on the inside. And I will be doing more video probably. I'll be doing another broadcast very soon here over the next few days as we get closer to this, the final countdown for the early bird price. But then, of course, the full price goes and starts next week. Okay, just as an FYI. All right, everyone. Thanks again. Much love to you, and I'll see you on the inside. Bye-bye.